we're going to read a mystery together which I know you'll enjoy. The Case of the Hungry Stranger by Crosby Bonsall. In this story, Wizard the Private Eye and his friends try to find out who ate Mrs. Meach's blueberry pie. Will they catch the thief? Let's find out. I'll read aloud, and you follow along in the book. When you hear this sound, you'll know it's time to turn the page. Let's begin where the story starts, on page 6. You'll see the picture of the boys sitting inside their clubhouse. Are you ready? Let's begin. They all sat in the clubhouse, Wizard and Tubby, Skinny and Snitch. Wizard was the leader. Tubby was his pal. Skinny was his pal. Snitch was his little brother. Wizard knew a lot, so he was called Wizard. Tubby ate a lot, so he was called Tubby. Skinny did not eat a lot, so he was called Skinny. Snitch was called Snitch because he told on his brother. Sometimes. The clubhouse was under a tree, by a brook, near a fence in Wizard's backyard. There was an old sign on the door. It said, "No girls." There was a new sign on the door. It said, "The Wizard, Private Eye."
"What is a private eye?"
asked Snitch. "I am a private eye," said Wizard. "I find things."
"I lost a penny once,"
said Snitch. Wizard said, "I don't find lost things. I find things that have been taken. If someone took your penny, I would find out who took it and get it back for you."
"Free?"
asked Snitch.
"For a nickel,"
said Wizard.
"Let it stay lost,"
said Snitch.
"You have to be sharp to be a private eye," Wizard said. "You have to keep your eyes open."
He looked at Snitch.
"You have to keep your mouth closed."
Mrs. Meach, the lady next door, ran across the yard.
"Which one of you ate my blueberry pie?"
she asked. They all looked at Tubby. Mrs. Meach said,
"I baked 2 pies. I put them out to cool, and someone ate one. All that is left is an empty pie plate."
"I didn't eat it," said Wizard.
"I didn't eat it,"
said Tubby.
"I didn't eat it,"
said Skinny.
"I didn't eat it,"
said Snitch.
"Cross my heart."
Mrs. Meach said,
"I need a private eye."
"You came to the right place," said Wizard. "We'll find out who ate the pie."
"I am sure you will,"
said Mrs. Meach. Wizard looked at the boys. "We will start right here," he said. "Tubby, where were you before you came here?"
"I went to the store for a loaf of bread for Mom," Tubby said. "I got some cookies for me, too."
"Where were you, Skinny?" asked Wizard.
I was watching my little sister while my mother hung up the clothes,
Skinny said. Where were you, Snitch? Asked Wizard. Snitch looked funny.
I was with you,
He said. Now Wizard looked funny. Where were you, Wizard? Asked Tubby and Skinny.
I'll tell,
Said Snitch.
It's funny. Mom was trying on her new hat.
That's not so funny, said Tubby and Skinny.
She was trying it on Wizard,
Cried Snitch.
That's funny.
Cried Tubby and Skinny.
Come on, men,
Wizard said.
we have to look for fingerprints and footprints and anything else that will help us.
They climbed the fence. They walked across the grass. They stopped at Mrs. Meach's back door. The pie plate was on a bench. It was empty, all right,
Here's a footprint.
yelled Skinny.
It looks new.
Wizard said. Then he looked at Skinny's feet.
It's your footprint.
He yelled.
You just made it.
Tubby was looking at the open cellar door.
Maybe he went down here,
He said.
I'll go look.
The cellar was very dark. It was damp and still. Tubby fell over something. It was soft. It moved. It seemed to grab him.
Help!
Cried Tubby.
I've got him.
Mrs. Meach put on the light, and there was Tubby, all tied up in the garden hose.
You're a dope,
said Wizard. Outside, Wizard had a few things to say to all of them.
We are not getting very far with this case,
He said.
Hey, here's a pie crumb.
Yelled Snitch.
That means he went that way.
Cried Wizard.
Let's go.
They followed the crumbs across the grass, up to the fence. They saw the crumbs again across the brook.
Don't make a sound,
Said Wizard.
I think we've got him.
Tubby ate a cookie, but he did not make a sound. The trail led to the tree and then to the door of the clubhouse.
Shh,
Said Wizard.
I'll open the door fast. We'll catch him red-handed.
There was no one there.
Shucks, he got away,
Said Skinny.
We almost had him.
Said Tubby. He ate another cookie. Some cookie crumbs fell on the grass. They all looked at the crumbs.
Those were cookie crumbs we followed,
Wizard said.
Tubby's old cookie crumbs.
Said Skinny.
We must find out who did it,
Wizard said.
We can't be private eyes if we don't find out who ate the blueberry pie,
Said Skinny.
Blueberry pie,
Said Wizard.
blueberry pie.
Said Wizard again.
Hey, let me see your teeth. Why?
Asked Tubby.
Just let me see your teeth.
Said Wizard.
and you can see mine. What do teeth have to do with it?
Skinny asked.
I lost one, said Snitch. Does that count?
No, said Wizard. But if we had eaten that blueberry pie, our teeth would be blue.
And our teeth aren't blue,
cried Tubby and Skinny.
I think the one I lost was blue,
said Snitch. Let's each go out alone, said Wizard, and look for someone with blue teeth. They went up and down the block. They went to each house. They smiled and they smiled. Snitch smiled at the mailman. The mailman smiled back. But his teeth were not blue. Tubby smiled at the ice cream man. The ice cream man smiled back. But his teeth were not blue. And Tubby got an ice cream cone. Skinny smiled at the paper boy. The paper boy smiled back. But his teeth were not blue. Wizard smiled at the policeman. The policeman smiled back. Of course, his teeth were not blue. Wizard and Tubby and Skinny met back at the clubhouse.
I didn't see one blue tooth,
Skinny said. Where's Snitch? Asked Wizard. No one knew. I told Mom I'd watch him, Wizard said. Let's go look for him. But they didn't have to look. Snitch came running across the yard.
Hurry,
he said.
hurry. I have found the blue teeth.
They all ran after Snitch. They jumped across the brook. They climbed the fence. They ran across the grass. Mrs. Meach was weeding. She looked up and smiled. Every one of her teeth was blue.
Aw, Snitch,
said Wizard.
her teeth are blue.
Said Snitch.
They are indeed, Snitch,
Said Mrs. Meach.
I had a dish of blueberries for my lunch.
Back at the clubhouse, Wizard had a few things to say to Snitch.
But you said to look for blue teeth.
Snitch said. Not Mrs. Meach's blue teeth, yelled Wizard. Just then, a dog ran through a hole under the fence. He jumped over the brook and sat down beside them.
Hey, he's been with us all day.
Snitch said.
He's a nice dog,
Said Skinny. Does he want a cookie? Asked Tubby. The dog ran to Wizard. He wagged his tail and sat down. Wizard smiled at the dog. The dog smiled back at Wizard. Then Wizard yelled. Then they were all yelling. The dog was barking. He was jumping around. And he was smiling. The dog was smiling a deep blue smile. A blueberry pie. smile.
The case is closed,
Wizard said.
Here's our pie eater. Let's take him to Mrs. Meach.
The dog smiled his deep blue smile at Mrs. Meach.
You did a good job, boys,
Mrs. Meach said.
Now we're really private eyes,
Wizard told her. Someone cried, "Mop! Mop!" A girl walked across the grass. "There you are, Mop," she said to the dog. "Where have you been all day?" The dog just smiled. But Wizard told her. Tubby told her. Skinny told her. And Snitch told her. He always told. Mrs. Meach said,
would you like it? The blueberry pie Mop didn't eat.
Tubby was the first to say
Yes.
They took the pie to the clubhouse. Mop and the girl came too. The girl's name was Marigold. She sat on the grass with them and ate blueberry pie. And they all smiled. And each one of them smiled a deep blue smile. And that ends our story. Wizard and his friends solved the mystery, and everyone enjoyed that blueberry pie, including the dog. It was fun reading together. Let's do it again soon.